Welcome to Decades of Horror, the classic era.
If this heat goes on like this, it could very well drive us all insane. The human body simply isn't equipped to withstand such pressure, and sooner or later our glands and other organs are going to fail. Some more quickly than others, depending on your age. After that, it's only a matter of time before the brain's affected.
My glands.
My glands, yes.
What's the problem? Seems to be the problem here. My glands hurt.
This is episode 199, recorded March 9th, 2025.
Gruesome Magazine.
My name is Jeff Mohr. On this podcast, we cover the good, the bad, and maybe even the ugly horror films released since the beginning of time through
AKA the gland.
It's not Glandular Magazine? Okay.
Well, we did the head. Why not the gland? I mean,
Why not?
Surely the Germans made a movie called The Gland.
Oh, I'm sure.
In each episode, we'll discuss the monster, spirits, psychos, and villains that have haunted movie-going audiences since the dawn of film history. With me this week are my incredible co-hosts. First up is Chad Hunt, co-host on Decades of Horror, the All of Them. He's a film producer and director with Wreak Havoc Productions and a comic book artist and writer. Chad, how you doing?
I am freezing cold. My hands are like ice. I almost wish we'd have some sort of invasion or something where heat monsters come down and squirt us with their heat juice.
Heat juice.
From their glands.
Their heat juice.
Their glandular heat juice.
We'll talk about that. Also with us is Daphne, who is awesome, stupendous, and likable as hell. Daphne, it's good to see you. How are you?
Hi, guys.
Hey, Daphne.
I'm
Hi,
doing
Daphne.
real good. It's great to see you too. This movie. Let's talk about it.
Okay, we will. And joining us, Doc Rotten could not be with us today, but Mikey Z has returned.
Yeah, Doc keeps avoiding me. I'm not sure what it is about. Must be my sweatiness that's keeping him away.
Try Mando.
Yeah, and you should check out Mikey's Facebook page, Chills and Thrills. What do you do on there, Mikey?
Oh, we do a whole bunch of stuff. We have contests. In fact, I think the last time I was on this show, my membership total was less than 200, and I'm now up to almost 275. So
awesome.
Nice.
We're pedaling along here. Yeah, we're doing quite well. We talk about all kinds of things that'll not just genre related, all kinds of things that might, make you think about certain aspects of filmmaking in general. Recently, I talked about Dr. Strangelove and the craziness that went on in that film. So because it's March Madness time, so I'm focusing on that as a theme this month. So yeah, we do all kinds of different things. I think people would find it interesting.
Well, we're glad to have you here.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me again.
We will understand where that the name Sweaty Mikey comes from shortly.
Yeah.
Decades of Horror and Gruesome Magazine are partnering with Play Now Media, a streaming service that has a bajillion genre-specific channels. In particular, you can find Decades of Horror, the classic era, on the classic horror movie channel, the classic sci-fi movie channel, and the Wicked Horror TV channel.
And soon the Sweaty Stank channel.
And they even have a channel. So yeah.
Yeah, they do. They got some cool stuff. I love
a lot of cool stuff.
We've mentioned some other ones. One of the ones I like a lot is found footage, or I think it's called POV, point of view. Anyway, I love those kind of films. But we have a promo code for you. And the promo code for the classic era is DOH60. So DOH, all caps, 60. And for that, you get 20% off your first payment if you subscribe. So it's $6.99 a month on the monthly plan. So you would get $1.40 off your first payment. If you sign up for the annual plan, which is $50, you'd get $10 off. So it would only cost you $40. So
It's a
we
deal.
think it's a pretty darn good deal.
Less than the price of a dozen eggs.
Yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there. Maybe
And a couple
2 dozen.
Starbucks.
But at any rate, so check us out there. You can see us there. And if you don't want to if you don't want to pay, you can also go and just watch, like on Tubi. You can just watch and you get ads. There is some premium content you won't get to see, or you can subscribe without paying, and then you can create a favorites list, and it'll keep that, and it will also remember where you're at if you switch devices to watch the movie on. So lots of good options. All right. So what we do here.
What do we do here?
For the classic era. We
He
start
said,
by
"Do we
giving
do?"
we start by giving some basic details of the film we are covering, followed by each of our first impressions of the movie, and then we'll move into a general discussion of whatever trips our trigger. Meantime, people will constantly interrupt and throw me off, and
Well, that's my goal.
I'll just ignore them and keep talking. So what the heck?
Stop saying "do we do."
I don't think I said
I don't know any "do we do."
I don't think I said that.
Already, our
Jeff said
topic this episode is
Grandpa!
the night of the big heat.
I
And
stole
that,
me some toilet paper.
That gentleman on the side is the first victim. So this came out in 1967, directed by Terence Fisher. Now, this is kind of interesting. The script that was filmed was by Pip and Jane Baker, a husband and wife writing team. The original script was by Ronald Lyles, based on a novel by John Lymington. The cast includes Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing, Patrick Allen, Jane Merrill, Sarah Lawson, William Lucas, Kenneth Cope, Percy Herbert, and Thomas Heathcote. It was produced by Planet Film Productions, and it was filmed in Buckinghamshire in England at the Swan Inn, which is in Milton Keynes, and at Pinewood Studios, and also Dorset, England, which is where the meteorological station was. Filming dates. Well, they started filming it February 20th, 1967. I have no idea how long it took. It was released May 26th, 1967. So less than 3 months, obviously. And that was in the UK, and in the US in 1971. Not much on box office, but strangely enough, Wikipedia said there were 509,000 theater admissions in France.
They don't even have that many.
Yeah, so anyway, the synopsis. While mainland Britain shivers in deepest winter, the northern island of Thera bakes in the 90s. And it goes on up to about 108, I think. Only a standoffish visiting scientist, Christopher Lee, suspects aliens are to blame.
Is that Worcester Lee?
Yeah, Christopher Sugar.
I noticed that's how you spelled his name up at the top. Worcester, like the sauce, Worcester.
Okay,
Jackie
now
says
now
Chester.
you're making me look.
Well, you have to look at your card there.
Oh, I did put an E instead of an R.
That's
Well,
all right.
what the
I thought it was like Timu Christopher Lee.
It's a thing, it's a thing. I cannot do one of those without making a mistake.
It's
It's
fine.
just
It adds
the way it is.
character.
Well,
A whole different character.
or something else.
Yeah.
So there was something I was going to look up there. Oh yes, the gentleman there on the top is Sidney Bromley, and he's billed as the old tramp.
Mm-hmm.
And he does this little bit where Christopher Lee is setting up all these, I don't know, cameras and tripwires and mirrors, and he just kind of walks around them and picks up the newspaper to use to light his fire.
Come on, baby.
Maybe, yeah. And Gladys Knight does not make any appearance, even though Pip was involved in the screen.
Back in his cave. So this happens to be Chad's pick.
Was
Yeah,
it?
Chad, explain yourself for that.
I was going to shuffle this off on Daphne.
Oh, good. At least you go first.
So why did you pick this? And when did you first see
Yeah,
it?
what's wrong with you?
Why did you?
Well, as I recall, Jeff was putting the pressure on me in the chat. Hey, you need to pick the next one. I just picked one. I know, but you got to pick the next one now. Immediately. I need it by tomorrow. And I was like, any movie that I haven't seen yet. Oh, there it is. The Big Night of the Big Heat. Christopher Lee. Peter Cushing. Terence Fisher. I was like, how can it go wrong? This is one we haven't seen yet. How could this possibly go wrong? Well, let me tell you something. This could go wrong and did in any number of ways. I am not a fan of this movie at all. First, our hero, the guy that looks like he got beat in the face with a lead pipe.
No. He's a handsome devil.
Be nice.
Is he now?
His name is Jeff also, so we have to give him some
The
slack.
character's name.
That's why he's so sympathetic toward him, I think.
Right. I think so.
But they couldn't have picked the biggest or wrote the biggest a-hole in movie filmdom to be the leading man of this movie. I hated this guy. I hated him from the moment I first saw him on camera. I hated his attitude. I hated the way he treats his wife. I hated the way he treats his mistress, even. And, I just hated him. And I look at Christopher Lee as being the true hero of this film and the true leading man. I don't know about this. This was just incredibly cheap looking and incredibly, the monsters, it just looked like somebody poured banana pudding into a hole in the ground and it was just pulsating and moving around. And sprinkled fairy dust on the top.
And hair.
Hair.
Maybe
There was hair in it?
Yeah.
That's even grosser.
Something dangling from it.
But anyway, these things were generating heat to kill people, and they were tracking down heat and finding heat sources, but leaving everything else in the surrounding area completely non-melted or I don't get it. They go into that one workshop, and the guy's burned to death and melted, but the telephone on the wall's okay right next to him, and everything is okay there. So it's not like they were randomly generating heat.
It's very focused heat.
Very focused, almost like a laser beam. Almost. And I just... and there were dead sheep everywhere. I mean, come on. That's just nasty and gross. Anyway, I didn't like this movie.
Okay.
Yeah, but how'd you feel about it?
Well, thank you for picking.
You want my real inner feelings?
All right. Let's hear from Daphne next. Daphne, what did you think of this movie?
Well, I would agree with Chad that it's not great. I thought it was okay. It's not.
Speak your truth now, Daphne.
I did enjoy like the 60s-ishness of it. There was a great bathing suit. But yeah, the padded storyline was getting old, and there was just the wife, the slut, it's I love Peter Cushing. He had the best death. He acted out the best death. And Christopher Lee was fun, incredibly tall. It's always amazing when you see just how tall he was.
Or how short the people are.
Well, yeah, but you wonder, but you're like, I don't know. They're all that short. But anyway, so yeah, and it just kind of seemed the padding was really distracting. Both just because it was like not not part of the story, kind of gross, lots of driving, lots of drinking, you know. So I got kind of distracted. But you know, it was a 60s monster movie. So it's okay.
Well, he is 6'5", according to
he's
IMDb.
super tall.
Believe that. So anyway.
And the sweat was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Just
A+
sloppy.
for sweat. Yeah.
Sloppy and made me want to vomit. Nasty.
That's a good thing we didn't have smell-o-vision. That's all.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. All right. And now, our guest, Mikey, what did you think of Night of the Big Heat?
How much time do we have?
If I had my way, it would only be an hour.
I'm just going to say that, Chad, you owe us big time. This is, as you said, I thought Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing and Terence Fisher, this is going to be, okay, it's not Hammer. That's fine. But it's going to be interesting. And I was watching it. I was sweating through this thing, looking for the interesting. And I'm still looking for the interesting. I have not found any interesting. The only thing I liked about this, actually, was the sound design. And I'm going to emphasize that, in that you heard the sheep, you didn't see the sheep, but that was it. That was the whole extent of the sheep. They made a big deal about the sheep dying and nothing. You don't see the sheep at all.
Sort of a followed by a Wilhelm scream, right?
Well, you see a carcass, don't you? You see a bunch of carcasses.
Or a pile of wool.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Maybe it was a discarded sweater there. But I did not enjoy this film at all. I mean, I did not like the soap opera aspect of it that Daphne alluded to. I mean, it was just the characters, other than Christopher Lee, were abysmal. I don't know how long it took them to write this script. From what I read, it was a very rushed job, and I just did not like this film at all. I thought the music was terrible. It reminded me of something from like a 60s Euro spy film. It just didn't fit for me, and they kept playing that same stupid jazzy type of guitar lick all the time throughout the film, and I'm like, where is this going? And the way it ended was, we'll talk about that later, but the ending was just laughable. And
that'll be all for tonight, everyone.
That's my opinion on this.
And you can watch this at. Okay, I'm sorry. You know, it's always worthwhile watching these characters. You know, and Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing are always fun to watch. Now, I literally, okay, Chad, you picked this movie. I like the next night I watched it. And then I spent 2 weeks going, oh my God, I'm going to have to watch that again.
Mr. trying to stay on top of it.
Yeah, I wanted to know. I don't know why. But anyway, my description of it was, you know, this is probably getting repetitive, but it's hot. It's really, really hot.
Yeah.
The characters sweat a lot.
Wait for somebody to go, we know it's hot. Shut up.
I was waiting for someone to come out with a mop and a bucket with all the sweat that was coming off of these people.
Right. And then the aliens attack, and then it rains. The end.
Right.
Sorry, I just spoiled it for everybody out there. But I loved Christopher Lee with his glasses. I just loved it. And then I got some slides, so I won't say too much. But he was very gruff with everybody, and until later on when everybody kind of starts working together. But he's locked up in his room. Peter Cushing just, you know, Peter Cushing and the anthole's wife, they just sit down in the bar drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frankie
And then there's-
was the name, right?
And then there's a couple other guys that are sitting around drinking all the time. There's just a lot of drinking going on. But what else? What are you gonna do when you're sweating that much? You're gonna have to drink.
Have to
but-
replenish your.
And there's
replenish
just
your food.
not. I don't know. And you guys are right. They had this anything that I love Jane Merrill, but any part of the plot that had her in it was just a distraction.
Really didn't need her in the film. That character.
Yeah, I love her, but that she just, and it's just so bizarre. But okay, we don't need to.
The bikini reveal is what got me. When she comes running.
that was the one.
The '60s bikini.
It was a
she
great bikini.
freezes.
Gotta say, it's a great.
It was a great bikini,
Yes.
but the way it was introduced,
it was even
The way
better.
the thing displayed was, yeah.
That'll sound bad, but later on, she's so sweaty that her blouse doesn't even stay on her very good.
the buttons keep slipping out of the button.
I guess, and
all the sweat,
just sitting there all wet and anyway, that didn't sound the way I meant it to sound.
Welcome to
Sweaty.
Cinemax.
It was all
Late
Oh,
night.
are we going to use the M
Cinemax.
word again? Are we going to use the M word, moist?
That was moist.
There you go.
It was really moist.
That would have been a better title for the movie than Night of the Big Heat. That sounds more like a
Well, and the
noir
other thing-
film or something.
Moisture Island, yes.
That's exactly right. Because there's a great film noir called The Big Heat.
The Big Heat.
I mean, it's
a
really
great
good.
title.
And so I'm thinking Night of the Big Heat. Wow.
Yeah.
Not
It's
so.
a great title.
All it kept reminded me of, I had a cousin who had no respect for his dad, and he always called him the Big Goof. His
Oh,
dad.
no.
So all the Big Heat, all it reminded me of was Night of the Big Goof. Sorry, Larry. I had to
before
drop
we
a
get-
dime on you.
I know Chad's trying to distract us, but before we go any further, it's time.
Well, I'm going to
for
put the 60s bikini on.
Taglines
That I would
with
watch,
Chad,
actually.
All
played
right.
by Chad his own self.
Okay. For Night of the Big Heat, a Mike Hammer film. See, mysterious invaders from outer space create their scorching heat rays that consume the people and an island. And
Right.
watch us give away the whole film's plot. Searing terror, burning in its intensity in 10 cities.
Intense city. Oh no.
The
That
heat
would be-
descended, inexorable, choking, a mysterious and deadly harbinger of horror.
Harbinger. I like when they work that in. That's a good word.
Harbinger's always one of those words that when you see it, you go, oh, yeah, I haven't heard that in a long time. It's good to hear Harbinger. Shock and terror for those strong enough to take it.
Or sweaty enough to take it.
Yeah.
I don't think I was strong enough to take it.
Yeah, that must have been it.
No, that might have been an ad by Right Guard, maybe sponsoring.
I
this
gained
film.
weight because I had to keep eating to stay awake.
A blistering tale of incineration and death.
Okay.
And one that Jeff wrote and slipped in here on me. See, a lot of sweaty people. So sweaty, all the Gatorade in the world could not replenish their electrolytes.
He didn't write that.
No, that was Mikey.
Yeah, that's.
I knew it was one of you idiots.
I knew. I took his name off it though, just to see. Oh,
Gatorade.
Oh, my glands.
That's one reason I'm just trying to get out of the tagline business.
And that's been Taglines with Chad.
Chad's our hero, cool and rad. With him reading taglines, they can't be that bad.
That's what you think, Crystal.
It can't be that bad. All right. Well, as usual, we take a look at some posters, and like a lot of movies that aren't the best, they keep trying to find a poster that will entice people to go see it. All right. First up, this is the one I saw the most of, Night of the Big Heat. And
I mean, even his hand is melting. I mean,
yeah,
what
this
is going
isn't Christopher Lee's character does not do that.
Nor is
No.
this woman
Yes.
in the film at all.
Yeah, I don't remember any redheaded. Well, Frankie was a redhead, I think. Yeah.
Frankie's redhead, yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
but see, compared to most of the films that we do, this is closer. At least her dress was closer to something that was actually worn by Jane Merrill.
Look at her dress just melting off. It must be polyester.
Yeah, but just the way they have Christopher Lee looking, you can tell they're like going, nobody will believe he's a scientist. We have to make him be the scary
This creepy, large-handed, melting
Otherwise,
hand.
no one will come to the movie if we put him on the poster
Actually-
with glasses on.
Actually, The Melting Hand would have been a very good title.
Yeah,
Not that it had anything to do with the film.
Still
but
would have
yeah.
been better than Night of the Big Heat.
So in the U.S., it was actually shown as Island of the Burning Damned.
Again with the hand. I don't know.
Okay.
I know the hand is
It's threatening looking. That's why.
everywhere.
That's it. Sweat to the hand. Sweat
It's
to
not
the
even
hand.
not even his hand, probably.
Well, the bottom the bottom one is more. It's got that Cushing, and I don't know, people screaming.
Also screaming.
See the boiling Jello.
It does look like a Jello mold.
But they're all red, like they're sunburned, and oh, it does, yeah.
You can see the carrots and onions
But
and pickles in it.
Island of the Burning Dam sounds like a great movie,
Yeah.
Right.
but
No.
anyway, that's not really what was happening.
It's a better title than what we got. I mean,
Yeah. Well, in the U.S., it was shown on a double feature.
as
with-
Godzilla's
cool.
Revenge.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I read that and I'm like, wow.
Two unbelievably fantastic science fiction shockers. Or
Godzilla's
unbelievable.
Revenge. That's the one with the kid, right? Is that the one where the
Yeah.
kid fantasizes that
Minya,
he's
yeah.
on Godzilla Island? Yeah.
What does
Yeah.
that say? See prehistoric monsters.
Crawl out of the hidden depths of the earth and take revenge against the living.
So you're
Nah, it was
natural.
more like under monsters, other monsters.
And it always gets people to go to the movie if you pair an orange tinted poster with a green tinted poster. That will always attract the crowds. Oh well.
Can you
think,
name the monsters?
I think if they put on the marquee of the theater, air conditioning at full blast, that would draw people in.
You'll sweat just thinking about it.
Did
All
it
right.
have arms like that? I can't even remember.
I know. I was looking at that. It had some things. I don't know.
don't
if they were
recall. I don't
arms.
recall.
Well, the
anything
weird
like
thing
that.
is,
They
I
had
think
some
we really
things.
saw what it, dude, I told Bill we were doing this, and he says, "Oh yeah, that's the monster that's like such and such," and I'm like, "Geez, I thought it was just a glowing rock, you know." That,
Island of the Damned Horseshoe Crabs.
boy, it almost looks like. Well, yeah. Anyway,
It looks like what I don't know if you've ever seen the making of the show The Prisoner. Their first iteration of the rover Guardian was this dome-shaped vehicle,
okay.
and that's what I kept coming through my mind when I was watching this movie.
Or-
I'm like, "There's Rover."
Fiends without a face. Or
Yeah.
anyway, kind of like that. Well, here's German and Spanish. And German, I don't know, Brennender Tod.
Brendan Der.
Brendan Fraser, dead.
Burning Death.
Mm.
And the Spanish there, Radiaciones en la noche. Radiation at night. So that one's red. So it's got that going for it.
But it's got Night of the
Those
Big Heat.
posters don't have anything to do with it.
Yeah,
I
I
know.
just I don't.
And I know that's not unusual, but I feel like this is like a step beyond.
It's literally the I think if they made a comedy with Christopher Lee playing a clown, they would put this face on the poster.
You're probably right.
With the hand.
With
They would have a Mickey Mouse
hand,
thumb.
yeah. In 3D,
there's
yes. Christopher Lee's hand, yes.
The woman cringing there at the bottom too, but partially covered up by the letters.
Your hand.
It stinks.
Yeah, so sweaty.
All right, and now this is a French poster. It's exactly the same as the American poster, but kind of faded. That's the best image I can find of it. La Nuit de la Grande Chaleur, the night of the great heat.
I think the title is. I like the title. It's just such a shame.
Yeah. In Norway,
It's used on this.
in Norway, it was called Redselsnatten, Horror Night.
Okay.
And in Denmark, it was Dribendahid,
I made it all the way to Denmark.
Deadly Heat.
They
Well,
said,
when you got that
"No,
many
turn around."
posters, it's probably a lot of issues. All right, and here is. I just looked at these and went, okay, these are the. Is that an atomic explosion or the
What
hot
it looks
sun?
like.
I don't know.
Looks like one of the creatures.
Wow.
It's
a white hot sun.
Christopher Lee with the glasses on.
Nerd. I mean, that's the only poster that we've seen where he has the glasses on. Every other poster.
Yeah, actually, those just have cut out pictures.
Yeah.
Like photos, like as often on Blockbusters where they put the row of the famous stars, in the picture.
Right.
And now this is my favorite. A lot of I don't know why, I just love it. There's a lot of artistic license went into this.
What
looks like one of those 1930s exploitation film posters, like Reefer Madness or something like that.
Barbara Steele from Black Sunday,
Yeah.
drawn by a police sketch artist.
Yeah. Shock and terror for those strong enough to take it. Night of the Big Heat. Christopher Lee, Jane Merrill. We don't even have to say Peter Cushing. Yeah.
Right. Now, shock and terror for those who can take it. What if you could just take the shock, or you could just take the terror? Would you be able to get through this film? But if the combination of the two is what's going to put you over the edge.
It kind of
rated
looks like
NRC for not really combustible.
NRC. So it kind of looks like the kind of thing that would come like folded up in your advertiser, that comes out weekly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway.
This weekend only, 50% off Night of the Big Heat.
And believe it or not, we have Blu-rays on both sides of the pond.
Ooh, that's a nice poster.
The one on the bottom, they actually changed. And there's Christopher Lee with his glasses on and Peter Cushing. Christopher Lee's in the G. Peter Cushing's in the B. Night of the Big Heat.
And there he is up top with this walkie-talkie. 5 minutes of
I
walkie-talkie explanation.
I didn't understand that either. The phones don't work, and the other transmitters don't work, but these $4 walkie-talkies work perfectly fine. Up to 4 miles, of course.
How are you supposed to know those are the creatures in the movie? Those just look like two acne bumps that've been radiationed or mutated. It's a nice cover though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the artwork is very nice on the one on top. Yeah.
And lastly, actually, a couple of paperbacks.
Jellyfish.
The bottom one is cool. They're both. I like them both.
Yeah, they're not
Top
bad.
one has some cool colors.
Let's see. And one of them says the one on the top is 60 cents. So that, and the one on the bottom, I don't know. It's like 2 accent 6. Is that like 2 shillings 6 penny or something? Or I don't know.
Does that say Corgi Books?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it says Corgi Books. Yeah.
Wow, like the little models, the Corgi.
Like the cars. Now Corgi.
Yeah.
Yeah, Corgi.
No,
it was a book publisher. Yeah.
Yeah, British publisher.
Hmm.
All righty. Well, that's that. And now we move into the really interesting stuff. So These are, I call this the sweaty guys.
Whoa.
Not sweaty enough.
Yeah.
So y'all noticed, I'm sure, that everybody else is like in these drenched white shirts and ties. Well, except for Anthole, who's got a blue shirt.
Yeah.
But Peter Cushing wears a sport jacket and never takes it off, even when it's 108.
Yeah. He has huge armpit hole spots.
Yeah.
But he never takes it off.
He never takes off. He sweats right through the sport coat, right?
It's funny the dry cleaner in this town made a fortune after this invasion was over.
Well, they had a big bonfire at the end where they just burnt everything.
So I had to put the middle one in because glasses. Christopher Lee glasses. The bottom shot is Patrick Allen, who plays Jeff Collum.
I've seen better heads on boils.
Yeah.
And I just like the top one because the two of them are standing together, Cushing. And
yeah.
So that's a plus side of this movie is that they actually have scenes together. There are some movies that they're in where they don't even have scenes.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
and Lee is the star of the film. I'm sorry for Cushing got a guest starring role, I guess.
Yes,
was his credit or something like that.
They said this was the first time that Lee's name was above Cushing's.
Huh.
But they gave him the guest star, I think.
Yeah.
As a
That's why he didn't take his jacket off. He wasn't going to be there very long.
Yeah.
Right. I got 2 hours on set. Okay.
Just spray the armpits.
Yeah, just spray me.
Yeah.
Going in.
But he did have a great death scene. He was the
best.
He had the best death scene.
The best.
Well, those two were the best thing about the whole film.
Yeah.
I mean,
It
I surely
is,
wasn't rooting for Mac tonight down there.
So there's I call this playing the telephone game. Where he's talking, he's driving, and I don't know what's he going to do. He's going to go try to find the aliens, right?
Well, he was going
to the Met station, right? That was his objective, I guess.
Uh-huh.
And they were going to transmit a message to the mainland, and they didn't understand that either. Things are exploding all over the place, and nobody else got a message out what was going on. A lot of plot holes in this script. They're on an island, okay? We gave the spoiler of that the rain kills the creatures. How are the creatures going to get from an island to the mainland?
It's not surrounded by water. Is the bridge out?
By water.
Yeah, they kind of reminded me of Neon Maniac.
Right. I said that same thing to my brother. I'm like, another one of those films where water is going to destroy the threat.
Oh, they were going to be transmitted by the electronic
the radio waves.
Yeah, the radio waves.
Okay.
But yes, you're right. That was just kind of thrown in there.
And
at the end.
How are we going to end this film? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Come up with a theory.
Let it rain.
Okay,
let it rain. Let it rain.
You can see the fear in Cushing's face in the bottom picture.
That's because he's an actual actor.
He is. Well, Christopher Lee kind of looks like he's,
he looks
like concerned.
His mom's telling him what a failure he was in that middle picture.
They just go out. Are you there? Are you there? Say something. What's happening? Garble, garble.
What? I said.
Oh, I liked when they were like reading the walkie-talkie. It only has a 4-mile range. The station's 5 miles away. No.
You guys, I feel bad. You paid a lot more attention than I do. I didn't get any of this.
Yeah.
I thought I would watch it. I watched it twice.
Well, I'm not going to tell you how many times I either watched it or had it playing in the background.
Yeah.
So
we had the sweaty guys, but you brought up how they died, so I thought I better throw that up there.
At this point, why even wear a shirt?
Right, exactly. I was thinking the same thing. It's like,
I mean,
Just like a
Angela had
rubber.
the right idea. It's just, come on. So why am I wearing this soft
And-
shirt?
You
And
mean
they're
your
on
holes
an
stay in the buttonholes when it gets wet?
They're on an island surrounded by water. Only one person in the beginning of the film goes in the water to cool off. Nobody else did that
Oh, you're
in
right.
the
They
entire
didn't.
rest of the film.
If it's 108 degrees outside, that is where you will find me for the rest of the
Right,
film.
exactly. I don't care how
Neck deep
fruity I
in salt
get.
water.
I will turn into a raisin. I don't care. I'm staying in the water.
All very good points. All very good points.
Come on, Chad, get out of the water. We got to go destroy the monster. 5 more minutes.
Oh,
So we have the women, and that top picture is Jane. Is it Merrow?
Marrow, Merrow.
And she is like, even though her car overheated just driving there because it's so hot out, she walks into the Swan and she looks the inn and says, and looks just fresh as a daisy.
yeah. Everybody else is just dripping.
That's
Like
because
the
she
guy
had
that's
an
got the help
she had an
on.
open air car. That was
That's
her
true.
reason. Yeah.
Well, I did notice, Frankie, Sarah Lawson,
Yeah.
at least wore dark clothing so you couldn't see her sweat stains.
That's true.
True, and it was floral patterns also.
Yeah, yeah.
And her hair stayed perfect.
Yes.
Yes. Well, I think toward the end, maybe little signs of distress.
But the dialogue between those two
Yeah.
Oh,
killed
Just-
me.
it's
Killed
like
me.
it's like watching the EastEnders. If anybody knows what that is, it's a British soap opera,
Yeah.
and that entire plot line with Angela's character was just did not belong in this film. But as Daphne said, they needed padding.
Well, and I don't understand what it had to do with.
Right.
Well, and also it's like this doesn't really make the main character look very good, but yet
Yeah,
there's
and
no
And it didn't really
exploration of,
forward
like,
the
he's a
plot
jerk
at
or not.
all. Yeah, it didn't flow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't forward the plot at all. It had nothing to do with anything.
He was with me, and I wasn't here 5 minutes, and
You're
he was
lying.
already kissing
You're
me.
lying.
Tell me
Yes,
you're
I'm
lying. I'm lying.
I'm lying.
Okay,
Yes,
then.
you're right. I'm lying.
What the?
Oh,
then-
Everybody turned
Jeff
on
is-
a dime with their emotions in this film.
Jeff
It's
is
like-
just as bad. He goes down, he sees her in her swimsuit, and he goes down there and is like, "No, we're not doing this." And then next thing you know, he kisses her. Then he pushes her away and sort of stomps off. Then later on, they clinch again. Then he goes, "No," but but Frankie sees him. It's just it's the oddest.
I know.
And then on top of that, Jeff is just, he's an ass. Christopher Lee is kind of an ass to everybody, but he's smart and he's getting stuff done. This
Right.
guy's
Right.
just an ass.
Yeah. No,
Right.
he doesn't want to get distracted. He's working on something.
Right. He has a goal. Christopher
yeah.
Lee's character has a goal, and he's focused on that goal, and everyone else is just like, well, I don't know what the heck film they were in. It just didn't seem like it tied
It's
together.
so hot. It's so hot.
The temperature went up 3 degrees in the last half hour. I mean,
Oh,
okay.
Jane Merrow's character just disintegrates by the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
She's just a basket case. She's
Well, she was
grabs a
almost
gun
really-
and she's. Huh?
Well, I wish there was more of that with the other characters.
Yeah,
Showing
there was
them-
no depth
There was
at
no
all,
real
or- yeah.
descent of them being affected by the heat. It was just like,
Yeah.
Well, I did
They're
want to
keeping it
mention
cool.
Sarah Lawson was in The Devil Rides Out,
oh, okay. Didn't know.
and she was also in a TV version of The Trollenberg Terror.
The Crawling Eye, right?
Yep. The IT. I'm not sure. I don't think it was BBC. I think it was ITV or something like that. Speaking of which, there was an ITV version, an ITV Play of the Week
Mm.
of this book in 1960. So I don't know. They apparently decided to move ahead with it. Anyway,
That was before the day the Earth caught fire, I believe, right? Because I think that film was also around
1960.
that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, she was married to the lead, not the
Yeah.
lead actor, but Jed
Patrick Allen.
Yeah, Patrick Allen. Excuse me,
Yeah.
Mr. Callum. Yeah, Mr. Sweatstains. Yeah.
That could be any number of men.
Well, and Jane Merrill was in The Lion in Winter. I think
Yes,
that's probably her first.
In fact, I was telling Jeff prior to this podcast, I did not realize I was going through my Facebook friends, and she is on my Facebook friend list.
Oh, cool.
And I was actually messaging her prior to this podcast that, we were doing this podcast, and I had mentioned The Lion in Winter, and she goes, boy, 2 totally different projects.
Oh, wow. So you actually talked with her a little bit about this.
Well, yeah.
That's cool.
So,
she has a I checked out her website. She's still like working and
very
she
active.
seems really
yes.
interesting. I think I couldn't tell if she wrote poetry but there was like some poetry on her website and she seemed really interesting.
Yeah, she's still out there doing it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She was also in Hands of the Ripper.
Really?
Yeah, 1971. This is the red-haired Sarah Lawson. I'm sorry.
Oh, Sarah Lawson. Oh,
Sarah
I'm sorry. I
Lawson.
thought.
Or
you were
no,
talking-
Jane Merrill. Jane
Okay.
Merrill. Gosh, sorry. My mind. It's too hot. I can't.
It's your
The
glands.
glands. Your glands.
My gland.
My gland is not working properly.
She did a lot of TV in the 70s, guest episodes, that kind of stuff. Okay, well, wanted to get that out. I'm I think the acting was good considering
The material.
Yeah,
Well, it wasn't written very well. It just wasn't.
It wasn't. The script needed
Mhm.
a lot of work.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I thought the ancillary characters, other than the first, these main characters, Lee, all the way down to the Jane Merrill characters, the other characters, the people from the village, like Bob and his wife Stella, I thought they were very well acted. I liked their roles a lot. Even old Ben was a good character. He was on screen for a minute or two, but
well, let's take a look at those guys. We've had the telephone game, right? Well, we also had drinking games. They're like,
Oh man.
I don't know about you guys, but alcohol always cools me off.
oh yeah. The Angela character walks in and says, "Would you like to freshen up?" No, I need a drink first before I'm parched. So yes, let's have some alcohol. That's a good refreshment to cool
I
down.
think this is the first movie that sweat actually was foreshadowed, because when she first meets Tinker, when Tinker pulls up, I remembered I was just thinking, wow, he must really, I mean, he was like so sweaty.
Yeah.
And that was like early sweat. That was not like the later sweat. But I was like, wow, that's a working guy, he's there. And no, that was just a little.
I was thinking it must be oil and grease or something. He's the mechanic. Yeah. So that is Tinker. One of the guys here at the table is Kenneth Cope, I believe, on the left. And then on the right is Thomas Heathcote, who played Bob, who
He
goes
looks
a little
really
crazy.
familiar to me, but
he looked familiar to me. He
I don't
must
know
have
if I've
been in
seen
another
other stuff.
film or
Yeah.
project that I've seen him in. The Bob character, I mean, he looked extremely familiar to me.
He changes quite a bit as he grows older. He was in A Man for All Seasons, the movie, 1966.
Tinker was the one that tried to assault her later, right?
Right. Yeah.
Why did it look like he was under influence of
I
something
think what they were
besides
trying
alcohol?
to say that. Yeah.
He looked like he was really affected by the heat.
Yeah.
Or the
The
alcohol.
glands, Chad, the
His
glands.
glands, yeah.
It got to his brain.
I've been affected by my gland before. It's not pretty.
Well, I'm joking, but
must have been
that's
when you
really-
chose this film. I think
Yeah,
that's
I
when
just
it
figured it
first
out.
started. Yes.
So then we also have William Lucas. I kept wanting to say Wayne Lucas, but
He
William
was cool. He made a good,
Yeah.
like almost leading man at the
Right.
end.
I
there.
liked
Yeah.
him. Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was his part was done
Mhm.
very well. Yeah. I wish he had a different colored shirt. It was a little difficult at the end to
Yeah.
tell the two of them apart.
All these blue shirts running around.
Yeah, you can't even say, well, that's not him. He's the sweaty one. You know, they're all-
Yeah. Or no, he had a blue shirt on. What?
Right.
So Frankie's drinking, and I guess, with a husband like that, I'm always.
I hated that character so much. I swear I hated him so much.
Well, she's the bartender,
Right.
so apparently, so she's serving everybody up and drinking while she does it. But lots
She
of
meant
drinking.
nothing to me. She's just a whore, a slut,
A slut.
Yeah.
a
I
trumpet.
wanted
a
her
tramp.
body. Her body. I wanted her body. Yeah.
There, do you feel better now?
Yeah, I don't care about her. I just
Okay,
wanted
well,
her
that's
body.
it. Yeah.
Well, yes.
Oh,
And the way
okay
she-
then.
you guys already brought this up, but that dialogue was crazy.
I know.
I've already known him. That whole thing. First, there was that
I didn't
dialogue
get that at all.
with the wife.
Yeah. It's just, it
and
And
wasn't.
it all went
5
nowhere.
minutes.
It all went nowhere. It was useless
Yeah.
Yeah.
Side story there.
Yeah.
I was waiting for Frankie to
Decker. Yeah. Do
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it just
Push
definitely
her into
felt
the
like
alien cave or something.
But they
it
were
just
very
felt like everything
British
was so
about it.
shallow and very like, okay, we've got the wife, we've got the the
Floozy,
husband, we've got
Mhm.
the floozy or the slut, we got the it's just all of them are just not. There's nothing.
Mm.
Nothing
Well, now we're
below.
talking about that. I did put this together. I was like, and their eyes met. Those top two pictures are just. Oh,
You sure?
And then
Because
the
his look
bottom
like
one.
the.
The bottom one is, I think, the better.
Yeah, she's
of the
like, that's the lowest hanging forehead I've seen since Frankenstein.
she's like the cat woman or something coming in on
Yeah.
him.
Whatever made me kiss you? I don't understand.
She's
Yeah.
giving him the look. She's giving him the stupid sloppy look, and
Well, she does that thing also when she first goes to her room and he knocks on the door to get in and she starts playing with her top button. He's like, I'm not here for that. So she was still playing him.
oh yeah,
Well, even while Frankie is like walking in the room right behind him practically. So
yeah.
I hated it because it went nowhere.
I know.
It went nowhere.
I know.
And
Oh,
so that's the love affair, I guess, or the hate affair, or whatever. And this
there
is
he is.
sciencing, right?
yeah. Very
Dr.
science-
Griffin, I said, yeah.
Actually, he's just picking up a broken camera and messing with it, but
looking at it.
and looking at a lens filter with a bunch of equipment behind him.
That scene reminded me a lot of the 1932 Invisible Man. Where Claude Rains is messing around in his rooms of the inn, and then in this film you have the similar character coming in wondering, what are you doing in my room? This isn't your own private laboratory. And I equated that a lot with that 32 film.
Oh yeah.
Well,
that,
and then
that came immediately to mind.
the package, he brings the package.
Oh
for him,
yes.
knocks on the door. I have a package here for you. Give it to me. And this hand comes out.
That was funny.
Yeah, I guess Chad didn't like that part. Just a hand. No,
No, yeah.
we didn't like that.
It was
Freaked
I
out.
would have been. I'd have liked it better if it was a shark out there.
So
Andy
what
Graham.
happened? The bottom picture was in that Met station where the screen blew up at the guy, and he's like falling over in the chair. I'm like, I didn't get that at all.
Well, we saw that in the very beginning, right before the titles.
Right.
You see
Yeah.
that scene, and I'm like, didn't they played it again? So it's like, oh, is this on a loop? This whole story? Please don't do that to me.
Yeah, he's looking at weird blue shapes on the screen. It doesn't look like any kind of screen we've ever seen, right?
Right.
Doesn't look like radar. Doesn't look like infrared imaging. It doesn't. It's just some nebulous blue things on the screen, and
And
then
he He got the overhead lights from Applebee's.
Or a billiard parlor or something like that. Yeah.
All right, that's the sciencey. Now we have to get to the aliens. And
Please do.
I just don't. Well, first off, they're standing around in there, and the guy says, "Hansen claims the island is being attacked by creatures from another planet." Har, har,
Oh, he
har.
does he?
As they're all sitting there sweating with no explanation.
We're being invaded by chicken pot pies.
So the middle picture is the first time we kind of see one. It's a little bit of a distance. It's nestled among the rocks. Then we get a little.
Can someone
closer
explain
look.
this to me?
No.
You had the picture early in the
What
film.
the crust is made of?
The old man in the cave, right?
Yeah.
These creatures supposedly slinked, or is it slinked or slunk, or into
Slank.
that little crevice that the old man was in the cave? How did
Slank.
they get in there?
They're mushy, I
And
imagine.
secondly, what is their kill technology? You know, what's their process for killing people?
They're
Deadly heat
scare
laser
people.
beam,
They scare people to
as
death.
read in the
Yeah.
taglines.
I mean, the light turns red, then it turns white, and that's when they die.
See, if he'd had a
Well,
fork and a knife, he could have just eaten it and been.
And once in a while, then they do stupid stuff first, like they lose control of their bodies. The one guy was trying to get in the car or something, and he's like,
Yeah. They all were like
This was
holding
weird.
their heads and stuff with their brains exploding. What was going on there?
I was thinking it was the weird noise that was like affecting their brain. That's
yeah.
again, there I go trying to figure out.
It's
Yeah,
Like a whiny noise.
I was going for the glands. That's all. They should have used.
My glands.
They should
sounded like
use,
cicadas to me. I don't know.
They should have used the noise, the sound effect from them. Although this wasn't too bad, but part of the time I could barely hear it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But
Oh, I heard it every time.
I heard it.
I heard it even when there wasn't any noise. So
Well, and then we have.
okay.
I don't know. And I
Something.
look at those things. You never see anything more definite than that. It's just, it just looks like a glowing lump,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
a rock.
I was
or
walking through a
something.
cow field one time, and that bottom picture reminds me of a lot of that.
That's after a race.
Yeah.
After I stepped in one, yeah.
Yeah.
That's after you stepped in it. I see that
Yes.
right there.
Two, I see. Yes.
It was smoking like that and everything.
Oh, jeez.
It was early morning.
They do that. Yeah, they do that.
Yeah.
The fresh ones.
Yeah.
But you just look at that and go, it's kind of cool, but then it doesn't go anywhere from there. There had to be at least one quick edit of something a little more well defined. Like, how in the hell is that thing moving? We don't see any
Right.
feet.
You
We don't
need
see
to
any
see
tentacles.
Sort
We don't-
of. Yeah, you need to see some sort of ambulation where it's moving, some sort of movement in it. It's just, you know.
It made
Maybe
me
the
think of
little
those.
hairs make it move.
It made me think of those rock creatures in Star Trek, which would have been about the same time.
Yeah. Right. But how do you not escape that? It must have the mummy syndrome wrapped around it. You know, you can't run away from this thing. You see it and you
You see it,
transfixed
and
by it.
you
Come
back
on,
up against
Daphne.
the
We
wall
know
and
why it
scream
happens,
until it
right?
gets to you.
It's the glands.
You're right,
I
though.
thought I'd take a break on the glands for
It's
save it
one
up.
of those. It's one of those creatures where the people just
I
they
know.
until they back up against the wall and
Mhm.
then scream until it finally gets
Yeah.
to them. You know.
Yeah.
Not me. I go down fighting, especially the glowing mud pie creatures.
I like that.
Oh.
I like that thing. So I don't know. You guys. You know, I did a little research.
On
We've
these,
done. Well, just this is we have done. This is the 11th Terence Fisher directed movie we've done, or Decades of Horror have done. That includes 70s.
and I'm sure this one is his just
Yeah, it's at the
They-
top of his resume.
Top of his, yeah.
CV or whatever they call it.
Now, I do have a quiz for you. Do you think we've done more, Decades of Horror has done more Christopher Lee or more Peter Cushing movies?
Christopher Lee.
I
I'm going
would
to
guess
say
Lee,
maybe Lee, yeah.
Okay. And I could be wrong, but I got 24 movies for Christopher Lee. And for Peter Cushing, I got 28.
Wow.
Really? Okay.
He should have done more Howling films, I think. Christopher Lee, that is, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Don't bring that movie up.
Why? After this?
If it's not the first, I would rather watch this 20 more times than watch Howling 2, Your Sister's a Werewolf. Worst movie ever made.
well, the closing credits.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but once you've seen them, you want to see them 100 more times after that?
That's what they thought. Anyway.
Oh.
Over and over again. Well, I was surprised when I did that. I was thinking we'd be around 10 or 15. So that's a lot of movies. You got all the Dracula movies, all the Frankenstein movies up to a point. So Cushing's in a lot more Frankenstein movies, right?
You've got them
right.
on the ones where they're on their own. You've
And
got,
there's Portmanteaus, yeah.
Yeah, Cushing's or Lee's got City of the Dead, Rasputin, The Mummy, Devil Rides Out. They're both in the Gorgon. There's a bunch of them that they're both in.
You
know,
did
horror-
Dr.
horror.
Terror's House of Horrors, right?
I did. Dr. Terror's House of Horrors.
They were both in that, yeah.
Horror Express. So, anyway, but Cushing was in like The Flesh of the Fiends.
The Uncanny. He was in The Uncanny,
yeah.
I believe, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
The Ghoul, 1984. So anyway, the
Tales
Beast
from
Must
the
Die.
Crypt.
Yes.
One of my favorite things he ever did.
Shockwaves,
Yeah.
Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires. He was in most of the Amicus portmanteaus.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but he was in more than Lee.
Or portmanteaus, as Bill Mulligan
As Bill
calls it.
Mulligan says, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's you take Kathmandu, you
Yeah.
switch out port with cat.
And I'm
Sorry,
sure
Bill.
that's what he's thinking of.
It is. He said that
What he
before. And actually,
Every time he goes portmanteau, I go heretic.
Well, he's not saying quartermass, at least, yes.
So anyway, I like to do that. I need to create. I started making a spreadsheet that had all the the horror icons, and then I was marking, giving them a check mark whenever somebody was in it. But I quit too long ago. So anyway, I found that interesting myself. All right. Anything else?
For some reason, I'm wanting scrambled eggs.
Well, these are from the famous chickens on this island that have black egg whites in them, and the yolk glows in the dark.
But wouldn't they be called egg blacks then?
Maybe. All right. Any final comments about this movie? This movie is on, and this is actually, I'll look it up again here, but it was on Tubi, right?
Yeah, I saw it on Tubi, but I also saw it on YouTube. And according to the times for each film, Tubi had it at a minute 34, and I think YouTube had it at a minute 30. And I watched them both, and I could not tell the difference between either of them.
Well, it's only on for a minute and 30 seconds.
Well, we use an app. At least I do. I use an app to look these up, and for some reason, it's not showing Tubi right now, but it's there. The other one it shows is FlixFling, which is a subscription service.
I suggest watching it on Tubi because they have a playback speed, which you can play it at twice the normal speed if you prefer.
It might make the the relationship interplay a little comedic.
It made it very palatable for me.
Like Benny Hillish, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
All of
It
this
was
missing
on-
was a little slap on the head.
All right.
It was also on Internet Archive.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Same, it
That's-
won 30 something.
It made it so anyway. Tubi doesn't have too many commercials. It's not.
Wasn't too
No,
bad.
not at all. No.
And at twice the speed, it doesn't really matter. It was just good.
Final comments?
Yeah. Do not watch this movie.
I wouldn't.
If you do, check your glands at the door.
If you're a
Yes.
big, if you're if you're a big fan of any of these actors, then yeah, go ahead and check it out.
Yeah.
But and again, Jane Merrow and Sarah Lawson are great, and I think Cushing and Lee are great.
Mhm.
Yeah, if you're a Lee fan of those two guys, then yeah, I would say
Yeah.
watch it because
Right.
they're the best part of the whole film. But the rest of it is TRASH. TRASH.
And I know I left something out here. The drinking games thing in that bottom picture. It's kind of hard to see, but Cushing's given the evil eye to Jeff and saying, "Do you really think we should be drinking while we're fighting these aliens?"
right.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah, hold off on that, dear boy. You don't need that right now. Yeah.
I do agree that the acting was pretty good. It's just the story was, as we've said already multiple times.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
it's not
weird that they
low.
say the
Yeah.
original script was unworkable. And then this replacement script was done really fast.
This
So
was barely workable. Yeah.
You can tell too because it's
Yeah.
not very well put together.
And I
at
think,
all.
if you think about a novel, you would need all of that. You know how a lot of times when they convert a novel to a movie, they have to combine or drop characters. I don't think they did. It feels like they kept them in there. I don't know.
Or there were other parts of the story that were relevant in the, that they just didn't cover. I don't know.
The relationship between those two, Jeff and
Mhm.
Jane Merrow's character, was just it just was goofy.
I think if you took the Angela character out and you really replaced it with more of the scientific investigation as to what was going on.
Yeah.
We'll
And
leave her in, but be more
I just-
more coherent about it.
Yeah.
Right. It just, I don't know.
If you take her out, then you have to take Jeff's wife out because then
No, you
there would
don't.
be no
I
confrontation.
don't know. I
between-
think it would have been better if you kept her in and, more emphasis on the how it's affecting the rest of the community with the heat wave. I mean, they didn't even show any disparity between the mainland temperature and what's going on the island. It's all, secondhand.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, got to have
Yeah, it
your
was like a
person-
radio broadcast.
Right.
Right. It's like
Yeah.
have your person come to the island and bring some of that wonderful
Well, they
snow
did.
that they're having.
There was some information that said they shot this in winter. I don't know what the average temperature is there, but so they had to spend all their time in shirt sleeves covered in glycerin.
That's
Yeah.
terrible.
Well, that was a
weather,
very comfortable shoot. Wasn't
Oh.
it?
Yeah, so I guess maybe that's why they were categorized.
And there actually is a Faroe Island. I looked it up. It's in Scotland, I believe.
Okay.
So the island does exist. I just I don't know.
I will now recreate the ending of this movie. For
Oh,
everyone.
please do.
Okay. It's starting to
Lightning.
rain. It's killing them.
Lightning.
The end. Dun, dun, dun.
And that was the other thing. The emphasis on the lightning. The lightning.
Nobody cares. The rain
All right.
it kills them.
Shall we move on to feedback?
Oh, please do.
All right. Well, Chad,
What?
thanks for picking that.
Oh.
I do want to say, I did not purchase this Blu-ray. I just want people to know that.
Wait a minute, Jeff. Hold on. I have
He
to
will.
go in the other room and
For the
have
record.
have a shock moment. Hold up.
He will.
All right. Let's see. Feedback. Now, this is episode 96, Eyes Without a Face, from Sound of Silence. Daphne, would you like to take that?
Sure.
And
Sound
yell
of
it
Silence.
because it's all in caps. Yell everything.
This movie really got to me because my grandmom worked for Harvard Medical Research. As a child, my brother-in-law dropped her off at MIT Station. She'd be in a basement just like the one in the movie, and with large dogs and animals, vicious in giant cages, just like in the movie. She would have to pick them up. She pulled her hernia. Such a negative job. Those poor animals being experimented on. This was probably 1966. Just like this movie, you'd hear them bark and howl with no way to protect themselves. Some dogs were the size of German shepherds and vicious as hell because of fear. The stories she'd tell me years later, skin grafts, transplants, really sad. This movie has the same atmosphere. Now become a great film. I have the dubbed version.
Mm.
It is a great film.
It is a great film.
And that is a sad story, and I don't
Yeah, it is.
know where those things go. But now we use transgenic mice or transgendered mice.
Transgender mice, yeah.
Uh-huh.
100 episode 130.
You have to watch the news occasionally, Chad.
I don't watch the news.
Okay.
Well,
Episode 136, Return of Dracula. Also, Sound of Silence. Who wants this one? Well, I think we should have Chad read this one.
All right. Sound of Silence says, so many memories seeing Return of Dracula. I was 8 the first time I saw it. It was on that night with Conga, and Psycho was on after at 11:30.
wow.
My mom stayed up to watch it with me. Then saw Return of Dracula.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry about that. Twice in 1 year. Saw it with Mom at 9:30 p.m. She always let me watch horror movies. She was so good, my mom, and it was my Holy Communion night. My thoughts.
Wow.
The movie was excellent. I thought Dracula was more of a demon. The steak scene, she said, use Kool-Aid. So funny. You can see interview with Francis Lederer. Is it Lederer? I can't remember how it's pronounced.
Lederer.
Lederer on YouTube in a Skip Lowe interview. Lederer said it was never his favorite movie. He never liked it. He said he did not know what he was, vampire or dark entity. So he never was satisfied, but he did such a great job.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
That's probably the film he's most known for, though,
Mm-hmm.
if I had to guess. And, he was a matinee idol in the, 20s and 30s. But, yeah.
Excellent. Thanks, Sound of Silence. Episode 198, The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, from some guy named Michael Zatz.
This guy's a hack. He has
You wanna
no idea
take
what
that,
he's
Mikey?
talking about. He really has no idea. But I'll persevere. Yeah.
I agree.
Try to speak in his voice, Mikey.
Should I do a Chad imitation of his voice or just his voice?
Whatever floats your boat.
Okay. Mohr, March Madness, and Mohr is M-O-H-R, by the way, as depicted by the original tale of an unhinged mind. And I don't know if this guy's talking about the film or the person that wrote this. You must become
For the people
Caligari.
podcasting.
You must become Caligari. In my opinion, this is one of the most influential films ever produced. Its angularity and shadowy art design affect filmmakers to this very day. As Chad pointed out, film noir, horror, and practically every genre owes a debt to Caligari. The artistic, surreal story, as told by Francis, makes perfect sense once the twist is revealed. The unrealistic carnival, pathways, and buildings with their surrealistic imagery perfectly displays the mindset of the storyteller. This guy just prattles on, doesn't he? He doesn't know when to shut up.
He does go on a bit.
The performances are over the top due to Francis's recollection of the events that unfold. The sets with their painted shadows are so bizarre that they must come from an unstable mind. Great to see Eli join the DOH panel. The next generation in the making. Make it so. Very bad Patrick Stewart imitation.
It was cool to have Eli on.
Don't accept any feedback from that person ever again, please.
I think
Gotcha.
that was
ban
fun.
him. Ban him.
Thank you, Mikey.
Well, thank you, whoever that person was. Yes.
All right. Sound of Silence again. Where are we back to? Daphne? I don't remember.
Sure. I saw this movie at 13 years old. Loved it. I always mispronounce this movie's name. Dr. Mabuse is a great one with Janus Film Collection. Music 1966 is the best one.
I will take your word for it. I have that, but I haven't watched it. And there's several of those. I'm not even sure what makes it complete. You know, there's like 3. I think there's at least 2 Fritz Lang Dr. Mabuse.
There are like some silent versions of the story.
Yeah.
It's like an ongoing series of films. And he's like the grand criminal mastermind. And it's very engaging film series.
Well, and the one he's talking about is the silent one, 1922. So
yeah.
And then from Berliner Zero, damn good movie. Yeah, we agree.
Mm-hmm.
And Chad, you want to take? We got one from Jose.
Jose Luis Herrera Lapron says, "Nice pick, Eli. The first time I saw this one was 975 years ago, and I didn't get it. Why were the sets painted, and why was it all so crooked and weird? Much later, I understood. This is an annual Halloween season watch for me. It tends to play well for modern audiences, too, because of the twist Twilight Zone style ending."
Yeah, it is kind of, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you make some good points there, Mikey, in that the dreamlike part of the story. I just, when I watched the movie the first time, I just accepted these sets as German expressionistic stuff. I didn't even really think about it being a part of a nightmarish.
Right. That's the way I interpreted it. And upon seeing it, I saw it years and years ago, and then I saw it recently, maybe 15 years ago, and I go, wow, it all makes sense with the sets and the design and everything.
Did it
As
take
Francis-
you
of this
975
deluded mind.
years to figure that out? Or
No, only 974 and a half.
all right, Jose still has the record.
He's got me beat. Yeah, he's got me
All
beat.
right. Well, appreciate that. Thanks, Jose Berliner, Sound of Silence, and Mikey Z. We greatly appreciate our feedback, and especially the stories. I like Sound of Silence. It tells a lot of stories about his mom and his aunt, and the neighbor. I think the neighbor lady told him he was a demon or something like that.
Yeah, the Italian neighbor lady. Yeah.
Anyway, please send feedback to, make comments on the Gruesome Magazine YouTube channel, or you can send them to feedback@gruesomemagazine.com. Check us out at the Gruesome Magazine's H&R and DOH podcast Facebook group as well. All righty. And you can listen to these on all, audio podcast apps. You'll get just the audio, or if you go to Gruesome Magazine YouTube channel, or on the Play Now Media channels that we're on more than the 3 I mentioned, but I'm not sure all the ones we're on. I know we're on like Free Horror and Free Classic Horror and Free Science Fiction.
You also have Patreon as well, right, Jeff?
And yeah, we do have Patreon. If you subscribe for a few measly bucks, well, a few hard-earned bucks, which we really appreciate. Maybe the price of 1 egg.
I was going to say maybe 2 or 3 eggs worth.
Yeah. You will get Decades of Horror a day or 2 after it's recorded. Normally, it's scheduled to go live about 2 weeks later, and we do that based on sometimes we have a hard time coordinating our schedule, so we can't record it on time, but we want to make sure that they're published on time. So people can rely on that. So yeah, you get them early. And we, decades before the 1970s, did the entire series of Kolchak, the Night Stalker, all 20 episodes. And you can find that there and only there. So check us out. All right. That's it for this episode. But every 2 weeks, we'll be focusing on a specific film released between 1920 and 1969, except next week. Next time, we're doing, it's going to be episode 200. Chad, did you ever think we were going to get here?
No.
And Daphne's been with us for over 100 episodes.
Wow.
So our very first episode, we called it like a beta episode or something. We called it episode 0. And so the four of us, Chad and I, and Joseph Perry and Aaron Miskell, gave our favorite movies of each of the decades. So we want to do that again. We have new people, Daphne and Doc, that weren't on back then. And Chad and I can revisit those and see, have our, what did we discover that we didn't know about that has become a favorite. And I think I would like to throw in what's a movie that you haven't seen yet that you really want to do from each decade. How's that sound?
It's going to be awesome. Wicked awesome.
I think it's going to be fun. We're just going to talk. No movie.
I like doing stuff like that where there's no crappy movie to watch.
Yeah, nobody to pick a specific film to make a torturous effort for the rest of us to watch. Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mikey, so much.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
For joining
I
us.
always enjoy
Thanks,
these
pal.
podcasts. It's a lot of fun with you guys.
Hey, and check out his Facebook group. He really puts out a lot of detail there, and he's got a contest there that I never have a clue.
I think you'll be surprised by the end of this month's contest if nobody gets it. Even if they do get it, I think you'll enjoy the film from which it's based on. So.
Okay. I like movies.
You've spoken about it several times, as a matter of fact.
Oh, okay. Well, I need to go and check out what you've done so far. So.
Does it have Rory Calhoun in it?
No, unfortunately, no.
That's
sorry,
good.
Jeff. Yeah.
I was thinking that guy's, this character Jeff that was such an ant-hole. If his name would have been Rory, he would have been better.
Don't soil Rory's name.
Rory's a lot better looking than this guy.
Say good night.
Good night, folks.
Good night.
Good night.